What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the show, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about how to create a customer service plan for your woodworking business. Let's dive in. All right, well, welcome back to the show. As always, I'm so grateful for your time and your attention. Hopefully, this content is benefiting you. It's helping you develop that business side of your woodworking skill set. And so I want to talk to you today around how to create a customer service plan for your woodworking business. Now, most people, when they hear customer service, they immediately think all this is just handling problems. I will say that a lot of customer service is handling problems. But if you think about just the phrase customer service, we can break that down to just how do we serve customers? How are we serving our customers? And how do we not only have a plan for fixing problems on the back end, but how do we have a plan for making it an incredible experience on the front end? So I actually want to talk to you today about how to implement a strategy and a plan to prevent a ton of problems that you might have had otherwise with your potential customers or clients. And so there's a few things that I'm going to give you that are going to help you create a preventative measure to make sure that all your customers are having an awesome experience working with you. And then I'm going to give you one last bonus tip on what to do when things go south. What happens when you screw up, when you mess up, someone on your team messes up, and how to handle that the right way. So the first step that you need to take in order to create a strong customer service plan or strategy for your woodworking business is you just need to tighten up your communication. Listen, inside of the woodworker community, most of us, not all of us, most of us don't love talking to people. That's why you took up woodworking, right? You want to take an order, and then when the order's done, you want to say, hey, your order's done. That's about as much talking as you want to do, right? So what ends up happening, I've found again and again inside my own business and inside of all the other businesses that I look at, is that most of the problems that we have that we're trying to solve on the back end would have just been fixed had we communicated more often. The reality is that you're not going to communicate more often without putting something in place. You need to have an actual process inside your business and a cadence of communication. And so this is one of the things that has been so vitally important for us in how we run our business. And let me just walk you through that. The way that we communicate with our clients and we set up really clear expectations is that when they place an order with us, we look at our lead time, and let's say that it's 10 weeks, is we say, hey, just so you know, you're not going to hear from us for about 8 or 9 weeks. We're going to go silent on you. We're not going to start working on your order tomorrow. We've got 50 orders in front of you. So over the next 8 weeks, we're going to be working on those orders, trying to get to your order. So if you message us and ask us, hey, where are you at on my order? We will not have started it yet. But around the 8th or 9th week, we're going to give you a call and we're going to say, hey, Mrs. Customer, your order is coming up in our queue, and I wanted to confirm the details of your order to make sure before we order all of our materials and get what we need for it, that it is perfectly correct. We don't want to make any mistakes on our behalf. And what this does is this just sets really clear expectations for the client, and they know that, hey, I'm not going to hear from them for 2 months, but then as soon as they call me, that means that my order is about to go into production. And so we call them, we go over the details of the invoice, say, is it this size? Is it this design? Is it this color? Are there any other details, Mrs. Customer, that we're missing? Or is there anything else that you wanted to be an important part of this project that we do not have notes on? Because we're only going to go off the notes. Then, if there's anything else, we have a chance to add that to our notes before it goes into our production shop. Then what we do is, while we're still on the phone, we say, hey, we anticipate your order to be done in 2 weeks. It should be done on, Wednesday the 17th or Friday the 19th. When can we start planning to get this either delivered to you or for you to come pick it up from us? We've already communicated on so many different levels of what to expect. Now that it's going into production, we're taking the extra time to make sure that it's perfect. Then we're setting up delivery or pickup. And so we're covering all of our bases in just 2 interactions. Our first interaction when we sold, we set expectations, and then one more phone call to make sure that everything else is taken care of. So number 1 is communication. Just having a frequency and a cadence for communication inside your business. And then number 2, I've already touched on this a little bit, but I want to make it its own point, its own standalone point, and that is just having really clear expectations. Like, if people don't know what to expect, they're going to get mad. Most likely, something's going to happen. Let's say that you have to order a part from another vendor. Well, if they run out of them all of a sudden, what are you going to do, right? You got to go call the customer and you got to say, hey, I'm sorry, Mrs. Customer, I thought it was going to be ready in 8 weeks. Well, it's actually going to be 13 weeks. Being really clear on expectations that they know exactly what they're getting themselves into by placing an order with you And you also kind of get to know what type of customer am I dealing with. Are they like, oh yeah, whenever, it's fine? Or are they like, no, I've got to have it by this day? If it's that kind of customer, well, then maybe you need to, as soon as they walk out the door or you get done talking to them, you probably need to go ahead and order their materials and make sure that you're not going to have any delays with those materials. My third thing that I want to point out is to make sure that you underpromise and overdeliver. Okay, most people overpromise and underdeliver, and that's what leads to really poor customer experiences, right? It's what leads to bad reviews. It's what leads to negative referral business, that people are telling other people, do not buy from them, whatever you do. We want to go the other direction, right? So what we want to do is we want to underpromise and overdeliver on our promises. Here's a perfect example of how to do that. If your lead time is really 4 weeks, don't tell them that it's 4 weeks. Tell them that it's 6 weeks. Because if the customer thinks it's 6 weeks and you call them on the third week and say, hey, I actually can get your table to you next week, then they're like, oh my gosh, they're moving faster, they're more efficient, they've got their ducks in a row, and it just sets them up to see you in a better light, right? And so the problem with almost all customer experience problems, customer service problems, is unmet expectations. That they expected something that you didn't meet, and now we have a problem. Last point that I want to give you today, it's kind of a bonus point, is what to do when things go south. What to do when, honestly, you made a mistake, you messed up, they're mad. You know, if you've done this for any amount of time, you will have upset customers. That's just a fact of life. If you're in business at all for any point in time, you'll have upset customers. And so what to do when something goes wrong and you make a mistake? The number one thing I can tell you guys is own it. If you actually made a mistake, then own it. Don't try to put it off on the customer. Don't try to pull a fast one. Like, just own it and fix the problem, because some of the greatest reviews that I've gotten, some of the best customers I've ever had that given me the most referrals, actually had an order that we messed up on, but we went above and beyond to make it right. And by doing that, we demonstrated our character, our integrity, and they were like, hey, you know what, this company, they're the real deal. Hopefully this helps you create a customer service plan for your woodworking business. And so if you're trying to scale, if you're trying to grow, you're stuck between $3,000 and $5,000 a month, I want you to go ahead and check out the Woodworking Business Accelerator program. And I've got clients all over the country, in the United States and in Canada now, that we're helping scale their business in incredible ways. Listen, we're taking companies that are doing $2,000 to $5,000 a month. They're now doing $30,000 a month or $40,000 a month. And they were in their garage, and now they're in a commercial space with 3 or 4 full-time employees. So this is one of those things that you're really not that far away from making your dreams a reality. But I do put a disclaimer on here. Hey, if you're not doing $3,000 to $5,000 a month, it's probably not best that you apply for that program. I have a couple other resources for those of you that aren't doing that level yet. Number one is a completely free resource for you. So I wrote an 87-page ebook called Handmade Business Secrets. There's a link below where you can go download that and read it completely for free. It's basically the strategies that you need to set yourself up for success and grow your own woodworking business. And then the second resource that I have for those of you that aren't consistently doing like $3,000 to $5,000 a month yet, but you kind of know what your product is, you kind of know where you want to go and how you want to get there, is my online course called the Handmade Hero Academy. Now, in the Handmade Hero Academy, it's an online course. It's a very cost-efficient way to start figuring out how to start running your own ads, to build your own website, to kind of get some of the basics taken care of so that you can start seeing your business scale and grow and really ultimately build the business and the life that you love. If this has been beneficial to you, make sure that you subscribe and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Good, bad, or ugly, I can take it. Let me know. And with that being said, I love you guys, appreciate you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.